What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Bolero. Sam here with Gab and Maui. What's up, guys? Doing a back-to-back
What a good
recording.
weekend of
What a good
UAAP
weekend.
games.
Thank you to
Buti
the
naman.
Actually,
basketball gods.
Buti
in
naman.
shock pa nga ako sa UE Lasal game eh.
Oo,
So, ang
teka.
dami pa nagpo-process sa utak ko. I'm
Oo,
trying to
relax ka
recall
lang.
all the games we watched since
Oo,
Wednesday,
actually.
from yesterday.
Good point.
Grabe.
Okay.
By the way, back-to-back recordings, hindi po same sando sinusuot ko. So, FYI.
Back-to-back to, guys. Back-to-back. Speaking of back-to-back, kung di nyo pa napapanood yung first episode, panoorin nyo na because that was a crazy game between Lasal and UE. Right after that game, we recorded to, talk about our initial reaction. So check out that episode. But for today, nakita nyo na siguro sa title, we're going to talk about two things. We're going to do this or that. One of our favorite segments here at Boleros. We've done this before, so we'll talk more about that later. And then, we'll do our Gatorade Ballers of the Week. So let's get started. This or that. So kung hindi kayo familiar, I will ask these two guys a question. This or that. They have to pick which one out of the two options yung pipiliin nila and then explain why. Okay? So let's get started. Speaking of that UE game, two teams that got their first win, two previously winless teams got their first wins during this week. It was Ateneo and UE. So Ateneo winning against Adamson, UE winning against FEU nung Wednesday. This or that. Luckier first win, Ateneo or UE? First win, ah. We're talking about the first win. Let's start with you, Gab.
I really want to go with a homer pick and pick Ateneo for this one because I think you will talk about it more. But Ateneo was lucky to get that win because up until the final free throws of Ayan Espinosa and then eventually of Sean Tuanyo, they had only scored 4 points in the fourth quarter. If not for those two field goals of Christian Porter, I don't think they would have even escaped with this first win. That's why
Talagang
I
lucky no? May luck.
lucky. Also, ang daming na miss na shots ng Adamson which were pretty makeable. Especially glaring to me was the shot by AJ Fransman from the corner which
Corner
rimmed, inikot eh. Nilinis yung ring bago lumabas. At
Dalawang beses yata umikot yun, bro.
dalawang beses umikot.
Tsaka yung kay Manzano, he was making that shot all throughout the fourth quarter and then yung last shot niya, he missed, I think he had two chances to make it and missed both.
Yep. And then a hook shot over Christian Porter which fell short. Eventually Porter got the rebound and handed it over to Espinosa for the game-ending free throws. But I'm gonna go with UE over FEU. Not the UE over the Sal, ha?
First game, we're talking about the first game.
Their first win. UE versus
first win.
FEU. Yeah. Because they essentially lost this game twice. They lost this game already from the third quarter and before that, they were down for most of this game. And then they took the lead on back-to-back Gerard Wilson threes. Lost the lead to FEU again, and I thought that was over until finally they were saved by Ethan Galang. I just want to repeat the series of events that happened in that game, which I thought was pretty crazy. The game was tied at 51-51. UE brought the ball up the court, no timeouts, but they didn't run any sort of play. They were just passing it in the perimeter. Nothing was happening. They were so confused as to what was gonna do. Finally, they passed it to Ethan Galang. Ethan Galang was just said, "Fuck it, I am taking this three." And that's how they took the lead, 54-51. On the other end, there were two good looks by Joric Bautista, which did not go in. They eventually got the ball back, was fouled. They inbounded from half court, did not sub out their worst free throw shooter in Precious Momoway when they knew they were gonna get fouled. And Precious Momoway went to the ball. No, Sammy, they didn't give it to him. He showed for the ball. FEU trapped Precious Momoway. FEU also did not recognize that the worst free throw shooter is in the game. They should have given it to him. Instead, they trap Precious Momway. It ends up at the hands of Ethan Galang for the game-sealing free throws. I just think if that is not a chain of luck over and over again in the final few seconds of this game, I don't know what is. Grabe. That was the luckier first win. Because honestly, ang daming turnovers ng FEU, ang daming shots that makeable that they couldn't make. The brain farts on FEU's end to trap Precious Momoway when they needed Precious Momoway to get the ball. So many. That's a string of fortunate events for UE to end up with that first win. And I'm picking them. Again, it blows my mind what happened in that game. It really blows my mind, the sequence of events. So I'm picking UE over FEU.
Maui.
Yeah. Actually, si Gab went with UE, so I'll go with Ateneo. Just because it's FEU. FEU has been the biggest boleros of the season. They have not been able to close out games. And I think yung game nila against UP this week, they weren't given a chance anymore. That's how big it is to have that chance to win the game. It's not a string of luck for me why FPU is losing. It's them not being able to really do maybe what Sean Chambers wants to accomplish. They have been abysmal to start the season and they could go 0-5. So I'm going with Ateneo just because I thought that Adamson should have been able to close out that game. Diba? Ateneo was lucky enough that Adamson probably played one of their worst quarters of the season during the first quarter. So many turnovers, so many air balls that I think we three were talking during the game. They probably had more air balls and turnovers than shots who hit the ring during the first quarter. If that's not luck for Ateneo, I don't know what is. Diba? But yeah, this was a game until the end. Ateneo was fortunate enough that Franzman was not able to make that shot. Maybe the gods favored Ateneo. Maybe the gods are naawa na siguro ang Diyos sa Ateneo why that shot really didn't want to go in. And those two stabs by Manzano in the late game are makeable shots as proven by how easy it was for him to make baskets during the end game. I would also say that Porter getting that rebound to make another basket was a very lucky rebound because when he got the rebound, nobody was able to contest the shot. Ateneo was lucky to get that first win. As we all know, much like FEU, Ateneo has struggled to close it out. So sinuwerte lang din that they had a big lead and that Adamson was not able to close out properly. I think only Manzano played his best for Adamson, mostly in the fourth quarter. But yeah, Ateneo is lucky to be 1-3. Only FEU is now the winless team, and that's for a reason. Sam.
Yeah, I agree with Maui. I'm going with Ateneo here. Good points by Gabon, the UE thing. I do want to say it's because Adamson is the better team here. If we're looking at like the standings. So kung pag-usapan natin yung luck, it's like Ateneo getting that win against like a good team like Adamson, who we underrated, Maui. So ayoko nang i-underrate Adamson. That for me is why I'm going with Ateneo. By the way, worth mentioning, Adamson missed all their 3-point attempts. They were 0 of 16, I think, or something like that.
16.
If I remember correctly. And speaking of hitting their shots, Sean Tuanyo, who had struggled with his free throw shooting the first 3 games, was actually a very good free throw shooter here. He made clutch free throws in the end to seal the game for them. So I think that was a big win.
I think it was 4 out of 6, diba? Tama?
Something like that, yeah.
He was 4 out of 6, which is better than his season percentage.
6 out of 8.
6 out of 8.
6 out of 8.
Yeah, 6 out of 8.
75%. It's like Moe shooting 75%.
So, it's Ateneo for me. Okay, moving on. this or
Wait,
that.
wait, 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 wait.
Okay, Gab.
We're not gonna move on yet. I gotta defend my choice on you. Why I chose this is because UE had multiple brain farts in this game, countered by the brain farts of FEU.
FEU, yeah.
If that's for me, that is lucky to as luck could be, because you're making your own mistakes and being countered by the mistakes of the opposing team. Yes, it's
A team who is
Yes.
notorious for making
Yeah,
brain farts.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yun lang.
I get it. Na okay, if EU is not the most clutch team in the league, nor is UE prior to this. We saw it in the UE Lasal game. UE is
Oo
not
nga,
a clutch
apparently.
team. They're not a clutch team. And for this game, they could have, for both of these games, actually, they could have easily just given this game away to both FEU and Lasal. But brain fart after brain fart from the opposing team just kept UE in the lead and eventually getting this 2 win. Especially that first win. I thought they could have easily lost that game. They did not hold a lead for even, I think, a minute or more than 2 minutes of this game, and they escaped with the win. That's why I picked them. Although I do get your points, and I do have some notes from the Ateneo Adamson game. You people were asking us about our thoughts on the Ateneo Adamson game. I'll go to Adamson first. Maui said it correct, and I think the three of us were seated together. We were all saying this. That was an ugly first quarter by Adamson. Sobrang pangit ng laro nila. I mean, how many errant passes did they throw, diba? Sabi ko nga, Maui, consistently, ang Adamson, ang sama ng first quarters nila this season. And for us to call that their worst first quarter says something. They scored 6 points in a quarter for their first game, I think. Diba? Or their second game. So, that says something that we're calling their first quarter again at the worst. Because it really was. Sabi mo, shot short, shot air balls, turnover after turnover. It continued, actually. They only had 36 points after the third quarter. So, balas sila the whole game. And the other note, I think Coach Nash, silent listener lang yan ng Boleros eh. Kasi sabi ko nung previous episode natin, I don't know why he's playing Austin Ronzone, because what the hell does Austin Ronzone even do? And in this game, they did not play Austin Ronzone. Secret listener tong si Coach Nash eh. So,
Pero si
Coach
Yero
Nash,
kumain ng lahat ng minutes.
ay, pare. Switch naman lahat ng free throws ni Yero.
Oh.
Oh.
And minama niya yung mga guards ng Ateneo sa post, di ba? Kahit si
Oo.
Bongo, nahirapan kay Yero eh. Nakita natin,
Yep.
pinopost up ni Yero.
So, yun. And I really thought they should have gone to Cedric Manzano earlier in this game. They
He
went to
got
him
into
over
foul
and over.
trouble din kasi.
Got into foul
siya,
trouble, but
yeah.
he played majority of the second half eh. So
Second
I thought
half,
they should have
second
gone.
half, yeah.
They should have gone to Cedric Manzano earlier in this game, because honestly, I told this to you guys when we were getting dinner before we watched the game. Cedric Manzano is gonna feast on this Ateneo front line. There's just no way Balogun, Kyle Ong, and even Christian Porter can stop the likes of a Cedric Manzano. And I was proven right in that fourth quarter, man. He feasted. That run that they made was just propelled by Cedric Manzano feasting in the paint. Just clearing out space for guys to drive, just making space for themselves, showing the post moves. I tell you talaga, Cedric Manzano was born in the wrong time, played in the UAP in the wrong era, because if he had played in the 2000s, I guarantee you he'd be the MVP and he'd be one of the GOATs, because that's how good he is. Remember the 2000s where big men were a thing and post-ups were the hottest play in the game? Cedric Manzano would feast on this Adamson team. I have no idea why they only went to him in the fourth quarter. I really have no idea. But he kept them in this game and almost won them this game. And on Ateneo's end, we forgot to shout out Kyle Gamber, man.
Kyle Gamber, those two
Gamber.
threes. ended
2
up being
threes in the
very crucial nung third
Very
quarter.
crucial no
very-
third quarter.
Because they were also cold in the third quarter. They only scored I think 6 points up when that Chris Kuhn layup went in. Kyle Gamber went in the game, hit 2 threes, basically opened up the floor. And this is one of my points. Coach Tab, you have Waki Espina and Kyle Gamber. You don't have to play Sean Kitevis 30 minutes a game. I was happy Sean Kitevis actually made some jump shots to start this game.
Yeah.
He made a 3.
Two
More
The
of
shots, yeah.
baseline. Oh.
More of shocked that he took it.
Ako rin eh. More of shock that he took it. But he has to take them. There are times talaga he does not look at the rim and just the defenses don't even bother with him. Diba? And if you have guys like Waki Espina and Kyle Gamber who were willing shooters on your bench, Coach Tab, I think you can afford to give them a few more minutes and cut into Sean Kitevis minutes because talaga the offensive problems for Ateneo, one of their main stems is Sean Kitevis. Just because defenses just do not respect this guy on offense. I know he's a terrific defender, but we have so much problems on offense. I think we can sacrifice a bit of the defense that Sean Kitevis gives in favor of some shooting on offense. Man, if Kyle Gamber can shoot the way he does like that, that's a big lift. An amount of space that could give for the likes of Chris Kuhn and Jared Bahay. Please, Coach Tab, please, I'm begging you, just cut a little bit of Sean Kitevis minutes. That's all I'm asking. And yun lang. Yun ang mga yung kinimkim ko sa puso ko since the game yesterday. Hindi tayo nag-episode and tonight tayo nag-episode. So I really had to let that out. And yun. Thank you, Christian Porter. You deserve the player of the game because you're the only one who made those two field goals and guarded Cedric Manzano for most of this game.
Hindi naman natin expect na masastop niya si Baby Boy, diba? Hindi naman natin expect him. But he did his best. He did a serviceable job. I think worth mentioning also for Ateneo, the return of Chris Kuhn. It really...
Oh, we forgot about that.
We forgot to mention that. It makes a difference because yung minutes na yun na question mark, diba? Like it goes to more to Sean, more to like the rookies like sina Espina and sina Gamber. It's Chris Kuhn, diba? He doesn't score a lot, but you trust him with the ball. Sometimes actually we want him to take over more. I know we've been asking him to do that since last season, but the length also of Chris Kuhn. So I think
Sean Tuanyo has done that for him already.
Okay,
yes.
that's true. We should also talk about Sean Tuanyo. Who led this team in scoring, by the way, in this game, especially because he hit
4 straight games, double figures, if I'm not mistaken.
For Sean. Couple
Sean
of free
Tuano.
throws. Shout out also to his parents who were there when he was shooting those free throws, just cheering him on, diba? Supportive
He smiled
parents
at
of
his
Sean.
parents. He
No.
smiled after making.
Yeah. He looked at them,
He
diba?
smiled at his parents. Like, yeah, they too.
Shout out to his dad, by the way, who told us, eto na, this is it. We're going to win this game before the game even started. So,
Yeah.
shout out to Sean's parents. So Chris Kuhn coming back also, I think, was a big factor for Ateneo. They really missed him in the previous games. For Adamson, alam mo, when Manzano was scoring nung fourth quarter, Gab, you looked at me, sabi mo, ito din yung exactly nangyari sa Phil Oil, diba? Minamama niya yung buong Ateneo team. That's what they did in the Phil Oil. Ateneo had a big lead. Nung pagdating ng third or fourth quarter, minama niya, Ateneo lost. So, akala ko made-deja vu tayo na ganun ulit mangyayari. So, that's also why for me, this was a lucky win. Sa totoo lang, if you ask me. Maui, anything you want to add?
Actually, the chief statistician of the UAP tweeted this, si Pong Ducanes. Ateneo actually made 9 3-pointers during the game versus Adamson's 0, di ba?
0.
Apparently, Ateneo's made 3-pointers for their first 3 games is only 12. Di ba? Imagine the variance. Making 9 3-pointers. Chris Kuhn coming back and hitting 2. Kyle Gamber finally breaking out and hitting 2. I think that was big for Ateneo. Maybe as big as them having only 10 turnovers against a very gritty Adamson team.
Good
But
point.
despite all of that, di ba? Dumaan pa rin sa karayom Ateneo. Despite having their best shooting game, despite probably turning the ball over the least number of times during the season, I think that just speaks volumes on how a long season it will be for Ateneo. We'll have to see if this could be a momentum breaking run. As we mentioned during previous episodes, Ateneo's done with the top 3 teams, virtually the top 3 teams right now, which is LaSalle, UP, and UST. So if they can get a few more wins with their next 3 games, and maybe they could. This is me being optimistic. This is me giving hope to our Ateneo viewers that maybe Ateneo can sneak past this and try to make a run for the Final Four. Again, as we've been saying on the show, we think that the race for that 3rd and 4th slot will be very tight. And from what has happened during this past weekend, I think that's the best example. Sam.
Okay, moving on. I want to talked about 2 teams that got their first win. I want to talk about 2 teams that lost this week. More disappointing start to the season. FEU Tamaraws or NU Bulldogs. 2 teams that, by the way, if you watch the preseason power rankings, we ranked number 3, number 4 in our top 4. So to make it to the Final Four, FEU winless so far. NU, ano nga bang standing ng NU? 1-3.
1-3.
Tied with Ateneo. Obviously, they lost the Asana on their first game. So, not entirely their fault. But, more disappointing team to you so far. Let's start with you, Maui, this time.
Yeah. I think you said it best, Sam. My most disappointing team so far has been FPU without a doubt. NU at 1-3, I understand because they lost the Asana. Diba? If it's an indication, having a good or decent FSA always leads to success in the UAAP. The only time that was not the case is probably because of LaSalle having Mike Phillips. But for you to be a Final Four contender in the UAAP, you have to have a decent FSA. And much like UST last season, NU will have to go the rest of the way without the Asana. FEU, on the other hand, has gotten decent contribution from Motong Kara, which I think
Konate.
Mo Konate. Sorry, I twisted UST and FEU. Mo Konate, diba? He's been decent the past few games, getting those rebounds, blocking shots, and it's very disappointing. Diba? We've been saying this since the off-season na may caveat ang pag-rank natin ng FEU number 3 on the power rankings. They finished the Phil Oil as the number 3 team and probably one of the hottest teams in the preseason, showcasing both of their rookies, Pasaol and VJ Pre, and showing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel for them. Diba? It's probably the season that they could take that step. But no, they decided to start 0-3, and now they're 0-4. After that massacre win by UP, and they're going up against LaSalle next, who's looking to avenge their loss from UE and could potentially bring them to 0-5. That means that when they finish the game against LaSalle, if they lose that game, they will have 9 games left, and the magic number to make the Final Four in the UAAP is usually 7 or 8 wins, making it very, very, very unlikely for them to make it to the Final Four. I think that's the more disappointing thing to me. All the hype with the coach, all the hype with the top rookies, the good performance in Phil Oil, lahat burado because they started very poorly. And if there's any team that's known for making boneheaded plays, as we've mentioned in our first this or that, it has to be FEU. So I'm picking FEU. Gab, who's your choice?
Yeah, I'm not gonna swerve here. I'm gonna have to pick FEU. Yung tama si Maui, NU lost their FSA and they could have easily been 3-1. Diba? The game against LaSalle, they could have easily won that if not for a KQ explosion. The game against UST, they could have easily gotten that game. So 3-1 easily. So they're in games despite being without Mo Diazana. FEU, I guess tama ang subscribers natin. Tayo talaga ang nabudol. I don't think tayo lang. I'm sure a lot of other UAAP fans out there, including FEU fans themselves,
FEU fans, yeah.
bought into this team, diba?
Number 3 sa Phil Oil.
Oh, diba? Third place in Phil Oil. They were looking great. VJ Pre was playing well. Jorik, John Ray was playing well. We thought na, whoa, they're coming together already this early, and nothing to show for it because they have been disappointing. I was there to watch the UE FEU game live, and I was very disappointed. Just the boneheaded decisions over and over again by this FEU team continues to haunt them. I underestimated their youth. No, I thought na they had some form of chemistry coming from years of playing together since the juniors years, but apparently the adjustment to the seniors level is really, really difficult, even for a group of guys who've been playing together for so long. And hey, it's only 4 games into the season, man. There are still, sabi nga ni Maui, there are still 10 more games to go. Who knows? Maybe they could upset LaSalle on Wednesday. Highly unlikely. I'm sure LaSalle is pissed. So we'll see. They still have yet to face Ateneo. They could easily beat Ateneo. They have yet to face UST. Who knows, right? So marami pang chances. Marami pang chances tong FEU. You can never discount the growth from within a season. So you never know. They could suddenly rack up some 3 straight wins, some 4 straight wins there. Again, if the UE LaSalle game was any indication, the UAAP is really unpredictable. You cannot discount this FEU team. They still have talent. They just have to figure out how they're gonna play. One guy who has been really disappointing for me, we've mentioned si John Ray many times already. Jedrick Da has also been very disappointing also. He's also
Nawala si Da.
Oh, because his role is a slasher, but they need him to shoot. And he cannot shoot.
He can't shoot
diba?
it, yeah.
That is the spot that supposedly dapat si Luke Felipe ang gagawa nun, the spot-up shooter role to give space to the other star players to operate. But now it's fallen on Jedrick Da, especially with Cholo Onuevo out. And he's just not a shooter. He's not yet a shooter. Maybe he can develop it. Who knows? But he's been one of the guys who's also been disappointed because he's getting a ton of open looks and he just not been hitting them. So their teams have scouted already that Jorik is the guy that they want to catch to give the ball to for some outside shooting. And teams are really loading up on Jorik. They know that he's the most important shooter on this team. And same thing as the past seasons with Cyrus Torres. Jorik is having difficulty with a lot of attention on him on the defensive end. So, yeah, for this question, it's definitely FEU.
Yeah, I agree with your picks. It's FEU. Yun talaga, nabudol tayo. We were so excited about their off-season performance, their preseason performance. Going 0-4 or winless so far is definitely not the result that we expected. I think there was also a lot of excitement, not just because of all the star rookies from high school coming in, but also like Konate, we talked about him. He's been very good. Coming from not having a playable big man or FSA last season to getting Konate, you would expect like a bigger jump siguro. And they're the only team that changed coaches this season. They're the only team that got a new coach, a new system. We saw the potential of Coach Sean Chambers' system. Tama kayo. It's really a learning period for FEU. Hopefully, they start to figure things out and pick up wins. But it is a disappointing start. This is the worst case scenario for FEU. Maui, you mentioned it. Just don't start 0-4, 0-5. And most likely they
We are here again.
0-5. third
Deja
straight
vu.
season. Third straight season na to. But I do want to talk about NU. Um, I think for me, what's disappointing, especially in the last two losses, would be number one, PJ Palacielo. I have to talk about him, Gab, kasi we called him as one of our honorable boleros. If we had the honorable ballers, which we will talk about later, but if we had the boleros this week, I have to put PJ Palacielo as a bolero. Hasn't fouled out in the previous game, and then the last game was not a factor against UST. After those two games where he led the team in scoring, other than PJ Palacielo, I think si Reinhard Humamoy, we were expecting to get a big leap in his sophomore season. So far, it's been a meh performance from here, or baka nga sophomore slump. But I wouldn't be surprised kung parang last year yan, he would have a game na he'll hit like 5-6 3-pointers, diba? But so far, we haven't seen that from him. Good thing for NU is why they've kept things close is they have a guy named Jake Figueroa. A guy who was been dominating his opponents. I think that's something that FEU doesn't have right now, and that's why medyo mas kampante ka pa sa NU. And obviously, like, they do have a very veteran lineup despite losing si Kian Baclaan. So, definitely FEU yung more disappointing team. Moving on. Okay, this is not about any team in particular, pero 4 weeks into the first round, into UAAP season 87, I want to know, what would you rather have? 4 game days, which we had last season, in the previous seasons, or games ending at 10 p.m. This season, since games start at 6:30, which actually they start at what? 7:30? We normally end 10 p.m. So, what would you rather have, Gab? 4 game days or games ending at 10 p.m.? Let's start with you, Gab.
You know, when I listed
This is
our
the most
questions-
controversial question, by the way.
Yep. When I listed these questions for us for the discussion today, this is actually the most difficult one because they both piss me off so badly. I don't know which is better. I don't know which I would prefer to have. I hated 4 game days. They were so tiring to watch. You know, I have work. We have work. It's hard to, to go on a podcast and, have not watch the other games. Of course, we have to watch the games at 10 a.m. in the morning. Hindi pa ako hindi ko pa naubos yung kape ko noon, pare. Tapos, manood na agad ako ng basketball. Kailangan ko concentrate. Ang hirap. And then, you watch it until, 8 to 9 p.m. at night. So tiring. But also, this is also tiring. What's happening now? It's not just that games are scheduled to start at 6:30. They usually start at 7 or 7:30. And they end up ending at 10 in the evening. Yesterday in Ateneo's game, the game started exactly at 7:30 and ended at 9:50. I think the problem is not that So to answer the question first, I'd rather have the games ending at 10 p.m. because I just really can't handle the 4 game days. Ang hirap, nakakapagod. I cannot. That's just too much basketball, even for me. And I love basketball so much. That's just too much basketball. Ito, kaya pa eh. 2 games lang. But as I said, the game started yesterday at 7:30, ended at 9:50. So the problem is really not the scheduling. It's the length of the games. Why is a freaking amateur game in the UAAP taking 2 hours and 20 minutes to finish? That is crazy.
TV timeout.
Diba? TV timeout, constant reviews, which you pointed out, Sammy. They have been faster this season, the last 2-minute reviews. But
To be
still,
fair,
that contributes to the length of the game. When I would like to repeat what I experienced in the FIBA World Cup. Slovenia versus Canada, I watched it live, was what, an hour and 40, an hour and 30 minutes? How can that be shorter by 40 to 50 minutes than an amateur
Crazy.
game.
Mas
That's
mahaba
diba?
pa tayo sa NBA na 12 minutes a game, bro.
Oh,
That's
diba?
crazy.
NBA games take shorter than a UAP game. That is wild and crazy. So, to answer the question, yes, I prefer these games, these 2-a-day games that reach until 10 p.m. over 4 games a day. I definitely do. But we have to do something about these 10 p.m. ends to games, man. Especially galing MOA. Woo-wee! That is
Or for people
Sakit ang ulo.
living in the South or Manila, kung galing naman Araneta, di ba? Mahirap din naman sa kanila pabalik. Diba?
Oh.
Either way, di ba?
Either way, it takes time to go home. It takes time to go to the arena itself to watch the game. Yeah, this can it's positive for the vendors in MOA and Araneta. They're making bank.
No choice but to eat.
No choice but to
Kakain
eat,
tayo
man. Diba? It was what the game was starting at 7:30. We haven't eaten since lunch. Of course, we're gonna buy some food, diba? Or buy something na pampalipas gutom. Grabe. I'm sure Shake Shack, Snacks, Potato Corner, and yung in Araneta, they're loving it. They're making so much money out of the late games. But yeah, gotta lessen the length of the game. That's the root of the problem. Maui.
Yeah. Actually, I will take the contrarian view on this. I hate both.
Wow.
Much like you, Gab. I hate both so much. Diba? The 4 game days, I hate because it's 8 to 8. Diba? It's crazy. 12 hours of basketball. And when you also consider that the UAAP also overlaps with the NBA start, that's another thing, diba? So you have to watch basketball for more than 12 hours and it's physically and mentally draining despite just looking at the screen. I like yung what I like about the current format is that we don't have to watch 4 seniors game and we can allocate some time to watch juniors and women's basketball, which should be highlighted too,
Good point.
True.
Good
in my
point.
opinion,
Yes.
especially women's basketball. What I hate about it is that I have to eat at a venue. Diba? I learned the hard lesson. When it was Ateneo Lasal, I decided I will go home before eating. And I had to eat my dinner at 12 midnight because the game was at MOA. What I hate the most about it is we have to go through this 3 times a week. Unlike this is the turning point for me. 3 times a week yung current schedule which ends at 10. Unlike before, we only get quote-unquote tortured only Wednesdays. Diba? But I agree with Gab. We have to do, I think there's a solution naman to all of this. Diba? Start the games earlier. Start the women's games earlier or just be on time to start the seniors game. That extra hour could go a long way. And if possible, can the UAAP please lessen the TV timeouts? Diba? If a team takes a timeout near that 5-minute mark during the quarters, can we not have another timeout after? Diba? It disrupts the flow of the game. Diba? It makes it harder for the teams to establish yung flow of the game. Kaya I think that's one of the main reasons why we're also been getting teams who score below double figures in quarters. Diba? Kasi there are too many breaks for you to establish a rhythm. If you start a quarter bad, you'd most likely end that quarter pretty bad. I think that's one of the main reasons. But yeah, hopefully this is something that they address in the second round. This is not student-friendly also, which is supposed to be the main viewership of the UAAP, in my opinion. Students should be the priority, same way as student athletes who compete in the UAAP should be the priority with regards to another matter which we talked about during the preseasons. At the end of the day, this is not a pro league, diba? It's still a league of college teams. So you have to prioritize also the well-being of the students. You cannot expect students to stay in the arena till 10 p.m. on a school night or even on a weekend, diba? On a Sunday. Only maybe on a Saturday. So, but at the end of the day, I still prefer yung 4-day games just because sobrang daming beses natin kailangang pagdaanan yung games ending at 10, 10:30. Sam.
So you prefer the 4 game days at the end of the day. Okay, but I do agree, no? Parehong may mali
In
dito
fairness,
sa
yung
choices na to.
tama si Maui na once a week lang naman ng 4 game days dati. So,
That's true.
oh.
Pero on a work day, I think that's the kicker, di ba? On a work and school day.
Normally kasi students din will 'di ba? Parang syempre kung you're a student of a specific team, you're just going to watch your team. And as you mentioned, if this is for the students, mas manageable din siguro sa kanila yung Wednesdays still just watch yung schedule ng team nila. So that's a good point. But personally, both I don't like either of these options. Siguro well, lahat
That's what-
naman tayo ata.
That's what makes it hard, Sammy. You hate
Yeah,
both.
yun nga. That's what makes it hard. But we had to choose, I guess itong bagong scheduling na to is it just needs some tweaking for it to be better. I think yun na yun. Yun yung ending natin, no? Just need some tweaking.
Very well said.
Moving on, I think it's time to talk about our next segment. It's time to talk about our next segment, our Gatorade Ballers of the Week. So if you're not familiar about this segment, in this segment, we are going to pick our hashtag Gatorade Ballers of the Week. Gab, Maui, and I will pick a player, a coach, a team, or any X factor that helped propel their team to victory. Just like how Gatorade can fuel you forward. So let's get started. So, Maui, I want to get started with you. Sino ang Gatorade Baller of the Week mo? And I think we have to pick a team that is the obvious Gatorade Baller of the Week. But I'm curious who you're going with here.
UE or UST? Who's the obvious? No, we have to
Go.
pick UST. We have to pick. We have to pick UST, di ba? They're in the position, right? Because of that Lasal loss, they're now in the position to fight for a top 2 slot. That UST Lasal game is probably a game to watch out for. But they're 3-1. They're finally. I don't want to jinx them because we've been boleros the past 2 or 3 seasons for saying that they will
Nabudol
take the next
ka
step.
na niyan. Yeah.
Yes, nabudol na tayo. But I think they're for real this time around. I would say that they deserve to be named the Gatorade Baller of the season so far. For me, not just the week.
Wow.
Starting 3-1 is very crucial for them. They could, because of what's happening right now in the standings, if they lock up their next few games, they could easily get to the Final Four, which is their initial plan for this season, to get to the Final Four. If they can get into a position that they could fight for that twice to beat advantage, if LaSalle unfortunately gets upset by other teams, much like UE, then it could be their season to. UST is always that team that surprises us, diba? If you watch the past 20 seasons, they always surprise us with a season like this. That could be this. They are definitely the Gatorade Ballers of the Week for me because despite going through games that are very tough to win also, they were able to close out. I think that's very important. Fortsky Padrigao deserves a ton of credit for this, as much as Nick Cabanero deserves a credit. Fortsky hit crucial shots in most of their games. I remember one of the backbreakers against Ateneo. He hit that 3-point shot at the top of the key. During the game,
4-point shot nga eh.
4-point shot. Siguro some of the UAAP players are getting confused, diba, with the line. But I just thought that the game this weekend, it was all Fortsky at the end, diba? All baskets made, all baskets assisted were because of Fortsky. There's a reason why this guy was, I was mentioning to guys, I think a plus 15 in a 3-point ball game. That's very big. I think they have the keys to become a great team. When you talk about the UAAP, it's about having a decent FSA, having a closer who's Nick Cabanero, and having a good point guard. I think that's been the recipe for success. For Ateneo the past few seasons, for LaSalle last season, for this UP team with Kagulangan and the others, I think that has been the recipe for success. And UST finally has it. Probably the first time that I had it since Chabio's time, diba? And it's an exciting time for UST, the UST alumni. And I'm excited. I love it when I see them doing this. And I'm sure during the second round,
Ang
there will
ingay
be
nila.
more. Kalahati pa lang yun, Sam, ng arena.
Yun nga.
When they start racking up more wins.
Nga lang eh.
1/4 lang. When they start racking up more wins, when they get to the Final Four, wait for it. I'm telling you, UST is the rowdiest, the crowd that can make the most noise. In my experience in the UAAP.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I think worth mentioning, Tongkara has been a blessing to them. Last season, 0 sila. Wala silang FSA last season. We talked about Tongkara possibly being the best FSA so far in this season. So that's a big plus for them in addition to the arrival of guys like Fortsky, Patricao. Gab, anything you want to add to that before we move on?
No, I had a similar pick. It wasn't UST, but it was Fortsky. I was with the three of you guys, and all three of us were amazed. Grabe. I kept on saying, I think if he had played last season, he could have and continued his play and his development in the UAAP. He could have easily, we could have easily been having the discussion of JD Kagulangan versus Fortsky Patricao for best point guard in the UAAP. Just amazing. The fourth quarter, tama si Maui, was all Fortsky. He sets up his teammates. He knows he places his teammates where he wants them to be. It started with when he snaked the pick and roll, got a layup to tie the game. Made a no-look pass to Manaytay, and that eventually led to a Tongkara dunk. Positioning yung Nick Cabanero and eventually feeding him for a wide open 3. Then that nasty step back on Kenshin Padrones. Oh my God! I'm sure when Fortsky got that switch on Padrones, he was thinking barbecue chicken, barbecue chicken, and nasty step back put Padrones on skates to eventually win the game. Incredible! Just the mastery and the vision of this guy on the floor. He's a USC fans were calling him the point god, and I think it's a very apt description. When you think of point god, you think of someone like Chris Paul, who always aims to pass first, shoot second, but when you need him to score, he will score. Fortsky's field goal percentage has been atrocious. Let's just put it that way. Just look at his field goal numbers. Ang pangit. So, but if you look at his assists and plus minus and his efficient and everything else, it's freaking crazy. When he's on the court, USC is winning by a huge margin. Just that's how important he is to this team. And
Malaki drop off.
Malaki
drop off.
Yep. So, yun, he was one of my runner-ups for Ballers of the Week. Because, grabe. I was in awe of what he did against NU. Not to take anything away from NU, especially that Jolo Manansala bank shot.
Wow, the bank shot. The bank shot 3. Okay, yeah. That's a good pick, no? UST definitely one of the ballers of the week, ballers of the season nga para kay Maui. But I think we have to talk about that other team. There were 2 teams that were definite ballers of this week. We should talk about the UE Red Warriors. And you know what? We shouldn't only talk about the men's team. Kasi the men's team...
I was gonna say.
The men's team won their 2 games nung week na to, upsetting, getting their first win against FEU and upsetting LaSalle in that crazy game. If you haven't seen that episode, watch that previous episode where we talked about that game. Second, the juniors team is undefeated. Yung UE Red Warriors, undefeated yung team nila. I think they're 4-0 if I'm not mistaken.
4-0.
And
their main guy is named Gab De Los Reyes. Pang mga Gab talaga magaling eh.
Sige na nga. Nawala
Pagbigyan na natin.
ko.
Pagbigyan na natin.
Kasi hindi ko ko na-expect yung comment na yun eh. Nawala tuloy ako.
Yeah! Let's go, Gab!
Teka, sorry guys. Ano to, live to eh. Hindi makat. So, yung juniors undefeated 4-0. And speaking of 4-0, yung women's team broke their 40-game losing streak and won for the first time in 5 years. That
What a
is
week.
crazy. What
By
a week
UE.
to be a UE Red Warriors fan, diba? Or to be a UE fan. Gab, talk I want to hear your thoughts more on like all these parang games from UE then. I know you had them as your ballers then.
Okay, so I won't talk about the men's team. I think we've talked about a lot about the men's team
Watch
already.
that
Watch
episode.
our previous episode. I talked about the UE win against FEU, so that's out of the way. The women's game a while ago, just for everyone who wasn't able to watch, this was not a close game. This was a blowout. They blew out LaSalle. And that is an emphatic way to end a 40-game losing streak. UE, just for those who have not been following women's basketball, they really are not really known for their strength in women's basketball. They haven't really won much in women's basketball. So this is a big thing, a really big win for UE. They were celebrating right before the sound of the buzzer. Even I think
Parang nag-champion na eh, no?
oh, parang nag-champion. Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same when UP used to do it in the mid 2010s, diba? When they finally
Won
broke
one
their-
game.
when they won one game. It's a big thing
Bonfire.
for and had a bonfire nga pala. And had a bonfire. So this is big for the UE women's program. Also big for the UE juniors team. Now, there are those who commented this is not the true juniors competition.
Mhm,
Senior
mhm.
high school will happen the second sem. Di naman
Yeah.
to talaga yung juniors.
Junior high school
Guys,
to, yeah.
we know. Okay, we know.
Yeah.
But it's now a competition in the UAAP. It's now a thing. Junior high school basketball is now a thing. And UE is 4-0. And for those who, again, this is big because historically, UE is never good at juniors basketball. I don't know if you ever know. They are rarely competing for the Final Four or the finals in juniors basketball. The last time I can remember that they actually competed in juniors basketball or even made noise in juniors basketball was the time they had two big men, si Duran and si Adrian Santos. And I think their guard was Paul Zamar. So I think that was the last time that UE, and that was years ago. So the fact that UE is actually at the top of the standings in junior high school basketball is a big thing for their program, for the overall basketball program. And it's a big thing for the UE community that there's actually development happening here for the UE Junior Warriors. And I'm happy to see it. Again, this is a school with no track record of success for both women's and juniors basketball. But this season, you see it now. It's their first win in women's, but in juniors basketball, they have been the consensus number one so far. So kudos to them, man. UE is a winner for this whole week. What a way to end the week for UE.
Yeah. I just want to add why being the top team in the juniors division is so important also is because we always talk about building yung grassroots program ng college teams, 'di ba? You start in the high school. So look at teams like Ateneo, teams like FEU LaSalle that gets a lot of their star players in high school and getting them to play for their seniors team. If may ganito ka ng program na nakikita na UE is competing in the juniors division, then you start to build or develop those players and hopefully they go to your seniors program, diba? So that's also very important to strengthen or build your seniors program in the future. So if you're a UE fan, this is a big deal. This is really a big deal. Next, sige Gab, do you have any other ballers of the week picks? I know you mentioned some of your honorable mentions already.
I do, and forgive me that I am gonna go women's basketball here, and there was one who commented, "Why are you talking about your women's basketball? I thought it was men's basketball." Guys, we talk about UAAP, not just men's basketball.
And
We
actually,
talk-
in previous seasons, we talk about like women's basketball, diba? So if you've seen like the older episodes, we do talk about them once in a while then.
And this is a perfect time actually to get into women's basketball. As Maui said, the schedule permits it. Diba? We can actually
And may
watch women's
Pilipinas
basketball.
live.
Yeah, and my Pilipinas Live. You can watch anywhere. So there were two big games on Saturday, yesterday that happened. NU versus UST and Ateneo versus Adamson. All four are legitimate title contenders. NU getting a revenge game over UST. Remember, UST
Beat NU.
beat NU to cut the dynasty short. Diba? I think NU has won 7 straight. Tama ba? Yung 7 straight women's championship
Something
before
like
UST
that, yeah.
beat them last season. So NU wants that revenge, man, and they got it. Tambak ang UST actually for the first 3 quarters, and eventually they made a run in the fourth to make it exciting. But NU dominated this game for 3 quarters. Camille Clarin, hot from downtown, channeling her for her inner yellow Welo Lingo and hitting threes over and over. And I don't know if she is Konate's sister.
Caitlin Clark. Channeling her inner Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark. But their FSA, Konate, had a pretty big game for them. So a good revenge game for NU. And now they're on top of the standings in the women's division. In the next game, Adamson, unlike their men's counterpart, completed the comeback in the fourth quarter and actually won against Ateneo. Despite a big game from Junice Calago, I think had 26 and 10 and 5 steals or something like that. Adamson came back and beat Ateneo. They almost scared UST in their last game. They almost beat UST, and now they finally completed the win. It surprised me that their coach is Ryan Monteclaro, a former Adamson Falcon himself. He was there.
Throwback.
That's surprising. Also, on UST's bench is Jed Austria, Bacon Austria's brother, who's the assistant coach for the Ateneo women's team. Yeah, there's may mga ganun na nangyari sa women's basketball. But yeah, an exciting Saturday of women's basketball. Actually, an exciting weekend of women's basketball. So NU and Adamson, my ballers of the week. NU and Adamson women's pala, not the men's. I mean, they lost. So women's.
Okay, good picks. And those are our Gatorade Ballers of the Week. If you guys have your Gatorade Ballers of the Week, comment them down below. Share your picks for your hashtag Gatorade Ballers of the Week. And we'd love to see them and reply to them. Anything you guys want to add before we end the show?
Just share our show, man. And if you're at the arena, to all the fans we met,
nga pala. Shout out.
at the arena, thank you to all of you. Remembering si Renato, our friend Maki was there. Carl, who we met while we were waiting for our food. So shout out to all you guys. It was actually second time lang na magkasama tayong tatlo. Diba? I think sa Pinoy Liga one of the first times. Diba?
Lasal NU, Lasal NU.
Yeah. Ito yung second time magkasama tayo tatlo, and I think fans said, "Oy, yung tatlo magkasama. Tatlong boleros." Shout out to all you guys.
Shout out. See you again sa mga next games. Definite will be
Please
there.
Say hi.
To be there.
Please say hi.
Say hi.
We don't bite.
Comment below your thoughts. Sino yung mga Gatorade Ballers of the Week nyo? Ano yung mga reactions nyo dun sa exciting games that we had over the weekend for men's, women's, and juniors basketball. We'll see you again next time. Comment, like, subscribe. Bye-bye.